Hey, welcome everybody to another edition of Faith Greater Than Fear. It's unique this time in that, as we told you earlier in the year, we were going to at times just kind of have the best of the best by certain topics. This time it's on education. You know, this is going to be released in just a couple of days, and we're going to tell you that it's been a year since we've had lockdown. And there's no different area that has been more effective than education. You know, I appreciate what one of our guests shared. He said, you know, the world has changed, but our mission as an educator has never changed. And you, as parents of school-age kids from nursery to college, have definitely felt the impact in the last 12 months. So we invite you to listen to these educators as they share their mission, they share their heart, they share Jesus in the classroom, and they share with the parents the challenges that have been as they've all used their faith to be greater than the fear in the realm of education. Let's listen.
In our mission statement is that we're going to use intentional relationships and skillful instruction and have a growth mindset. And so really when my teachers came back in the beginning of this year, I just said, hey, the world has changed, but our purpose and our mission has not. We're still here to love the kids and have intentional relationships. We're still here to skillfully instruct, regardless of the circumstances, whether it's virtual, online. We'll adapt and we'll still give them the best instruction that we possibly can under the circumstances. And we will have a growth mindset and we'll continue to grow, and we'll expect them to continue to grow regardless of what the circumstances are. So really going into this, I've had a peace and felt good as far as the school year because I have great staff and our mission is on point.
The district that I'm currently working in is either going virtual or seated. So right now we are just in the midst of planning for students to return to our campus, which is so exciting. I miss our students. I'm here for our students, and kind of my thinking around this is, you know, hotline calls are down in the state of Missouri. Domestic abuse calls are up, and we need our students back in the building. For a lot of our students in the school that I'm particularly in, they do not have necessarily positive adults in their lives. So that is what the teachers, the administrators, everybody in our building serves. So I think that's our main thing right now, is just trying to plan for reentry. I don't call it reentry because that sounds so formal. I'm calling it back to school. We are going back to school, and things may look a little differently. Our adults are wearing masks. We're going to practice some social distancing. Well, we will encourage it. If you've ever been in a class with 20 kindergarten students, you know, social distancing is sometimes a little bit different. I had a kindergartner a couple days ago and screening come up to me and hug me and say, oops. And I kind of chuckled. I said, it's okay. I laughed, but that's also just our reality right now, is, you know, trying to teach kids to be safe and healthy. But I want our students back, so I'm excited about that as well. And then on the flip side, we have parents choosing to go virtual, and there's lots of angst in that decision and trying to figure out if that is the right decision, and how are they going to juggle work, and am I going to be able to come back in December, or is it going to be different times in December? So just lots of confusion and anxiety from teachers and staff at this point.
We were like thousands of higher education institutions across the country. We were trying to figure out what this meant for the safety and well-being of our students, for the integrity of our campus, our physical facilities, and the on-campus community that we have, and keeping people safe, while still maintaining our mission as a university to educate students.
And like most schools, we took an extended spring break to evaluate the situation and kind of prepare for next steps. And then we did decide to take all of our classes online for the rest of the semester. And our online learning department at the school, man, I am so thankful for them. They had actually been preparing us for the last few years on how to use online technology, even those of us who mostly teach our classes on campus. But all of us had already begun to manage our classes online. And so it was definitely work for us to transpose our classes into an online format. But all of the pieces were already there, and a lot of the skills were already there, and we had the personnel to lean on. So far, We're just a couple weeks into that. That has gone very well. We always have, little wrinkles here and there that we're trying to iron out. But I tell you what, last week we had our first online chapel service, and it was really cool. We, of course, used the church online feature that a lot of churches are using with the little chat room on the side of the screen. And it was really fun to just watch the students. It was like standing in the lobby before chapel where they're all greeting one another with high fives and smiles and laughter. And they haven't seen each other. They're cooped up in their own homes, wherever they're at. And to see them greet one another in the chat room and joke around and connect, and so glad to get to worship together, told me that even though there are a lot of miles that are separating us, our hearts are still connected, and they're still learning. They're still being stretched through this.
That the longer this goes on, you can't just put a smile on and pretend like, okay, it's fine, everything's okay, and muscle your way through it. We're enough months into this that just grin and bear it isn't gonna do it. So for me, there's a fair amount of my own daily or weekly practices that I'm relying on more and more, just because this is hard, right? And it's not getting any easier, and it's not getting any better. But for my students, it's trying to encourage them to find their own practices. Like what are they doing on a regular basis that's not just escapism, right? That's not just plugging into Netflix, and watching 13 episodes of whatever and hoping that at the end of it, everything's hunky-dory and fixed. And it's kind of a little bit about what I do with my son too. It's like, okay, let's actually acknowledge how we feel. That's an okay thing. God doesn't ask us to be robots. He doesn't ask us to disengage from our emotions. Let's go ahead and acknowledge our emotions, but then let's take them to him, because he is the only one who can help us rightly deal with them and process them. We're not going to wallow in them, but we're not going to ignore them either. Let's take them to the Father. Let's take them to his throne. Let's let him be the one to actually work through them, to help us understand where are they coming from. Are there deeper things inside us that these emotions are actually revealing? So I talk with some of the students that I have a closer relationship with about those kinds of things, because digging through that stuff, that's not standing at my lectern, that's not the stuff I go through in my classrooms. But those students that I do have a closer relationship with, it's trying to help them, like, are you really burned out? Are you really weary? Okay, let's talk about that.
What might God be doing, through what to us has seemed an interminable 6 months? This is a microscopic bit of the history of what God is doing in the world. And so what might he be doing through this time? How can I be part of it in some kind of constructive way? And then, on my bad days, I just withdraw. I don't go on social media. I avoid the people that I'm frustrated with. That's better than being unkind. Mm-hmm. And so I think also just giving ourselves a little bit of grace to feel what we feel. In our family, we always talk about, you're allowed to feel anything you feel. It's what you choose to do with those feelings. You have to take ownership for your actions, but your feelings are crazy and uncontrollable, and they are what they are. So if there's certain days where I just can't even with all of it, I just don't. I just step away. So I don't know how healthy that is, but again, I think it's probably healthier than just blasting people on Facebook. So
our goal is the same. It's to love your kid and have high expectations and to teach them well. We expect them to be young gentlemen and young ladies and to have great manners, and also to work hard, and we'll give them everything we have. So I think it's really, the more uncertainty there is, oftentimes the more our mission is to provide that certainty, which is kind of hey, it's the same message. Things, even though the world feels like everything's different, the reality is the purpose is the same. And so I just try to reiterate that message.
As I like to say, I'm not a prophet or the son of a prophet. I work for a nonprofit. I can't predict the future, but I did. I actually sent an article to my administrative team a couple of days ago that we'll be talking about this week. And one gentleman said that, of course, there's a difference between a blizzard and winter and an ice age. Blizzard, of course, is a singular event that you have to figure out how to deal with for a short period of time. A winter is an extended season you have to adjust to. And then an ice age is a long period of time where things have changed dramatically. And we're not yet sure whether this is a winter or whether this is, a small ice age. Is this something that's going to affect us? We know it's going to affect us here for the next few months, but is it going to affect us for just the season, 12 to 18 months, or will it affect us for, 2 to 5 years or beyond? Those are questions that we're trying to wrestle with and think about, but we don't know the answer to. We want to be prepared for however this goes, ultimately trusting in the Lord.
I just think we just need to have love and grace for each other. Love each other as God loves us. There's so much craziness in the world right now, with whether it's politics or protests or virtual or COVID. It's, for lack of a better words, a hot mess. And what can we control? We just need to trust in God and have faith.
Wow, I hope you enjoyed listening to the passion and the heart of people who were teachers, headmasters, principals, school teachers of all ages, of all kinds of kids, as they shared what God is doing in their hearts as they teach your and my children. So we want to know that you enjoyed this, and if you did, please share it on your social media channels. It is having a podcast version as well, and as we want to let you know, we will have a fresh version of a new interview in 2 weeks as we alternate between the best of last year in 2020 and a new perspective, as we still are in this season of a pandemic. So until next time, may your faith be greater than your fear. God bless you.